You took Gil back only because you wanted to hurt your sister. You weren't interested in marrying him, much less raising a family.
And he isn't interested in me. So what are you saying? Live a lifetime of misery for a minute's pleasure?
I am telling you how I felt. Now, Gil has every right to know.
And I have every right to tell him when I want to.
Why delay? Lee is out of my life. You are going to send Gil out of your life tonight.
No, I won't.
Where are you going?
Out. Leave me alone.
You tell him tonight, or I tell him, Amber.
Mother! Oh, God! Mama!
Operator, give me the police. Oh, God.
I'm telling you, Peter, it's wild. We had this party last Saturday night at the frat house, and there's this chandelier in the foyer, right? Well, this girl from row Kappa Phi climbs up on this thing and starts swinging back and forth, and she's doing a striptease. And all the time she's singing, "I'm just a girl who can't say no." Hey, are you alive in there?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm talking about here? This is every fantasy about college life come true. The keggers, the wild stunts, the no studying, the girls. Of course, some of the hazing I could do without, but that'll be over soon enough. I'm telling you, you were nuts not to pledge.
To each his own, I guess.
What's wrong with you? Last year, you were really depressed when none of the fraternities asked you to join.
Well, last year it was important to me. This year, I've kind of grown out of it.
Meaning it's a phase it should be grown out of.
Moving on to something else.
Yeah, well, some of the things that are waiting for us in this wonderful game called life don't really seem worth moving on to.
Why?
Like working 9 to 5, like coming home to the wife and the kids and the meatloaf, like spending Saturday with the lawnmower and Sunday with her family.
That stuff isn't so bad. In fact, some people look forward to it.
Nobody I'd ever want to know.
Oh, yeah? I'm glad you warned me. Now I don't have to ask you to come to the wedding.
Whose wedding?
Mine. I'm gonna ask Vicki Lang to marry me.
Bev, you all set?
Just about. I'd like to get a few more pictures, though.
Stanford, I want you to go next door and get Miss Phillips, or at least see if she's calm enough to talk to me yet.
Right.
Sam, what's the story?
Nothing. None of the neighbors report seeing or hearing anything unusual last night.
Nothing?
Well, nothing for right now. There is a lady, a Mrs. Schmidt, who wasn't home.
Well, make sure you get to her, okay?
Right.
This is amazing. A woman gets shot, then nobody within 100 feet living in the same building hears a thing. All right, listen, when Stanford gets back, I want you to send him. Then I want you to compare notes to see if there are any inconsistencies, all right?
Yes, sir.
But right now, I want you to go down and check the building and the grounds and send him for another team to help you. All right. Miss Phillips? Come in.
I don't know if I can.
I realize it's very difficult for you. I have to ask you some important questions. It'd be better here, but if you prefer, we can go down to the station.
No. I'm sorry, I just don't feel very much like going anywhere right now.
Of course. Please. You said before that when you came in, you only touched the doorknob and the telephone.
Yes?
You didn't go anywhere else in the apartment.
No, I was afraid to. I was afraid that whoever it was that did this was... I took the phone out into the hallway and called the police from there. Then I figured out that maybe that wasn't too smart either, so I went next door to Mrs. O'Hara's.
Do you have any idea who might have done this, Miss Phillips?
No, I don't.
Do you know anyone who might have considered her an enemy?
Everyone who knew my mother loved her.
All right. But she was a very important, visible public figure here in this city. And that kind of person makes many enemies.
And ideological ones, maybe, but nothing that would cause someone to do something.
Perhaps. What was your relationship with her?
She was my mother.
It's a biological fact with many associations.
She was my mother. I loved her. There was nothing between us that would ever cause me... I don't like what you're implying.
Why was she here? She has a home of her own. She even has a new husband. Why did she decide to sleep here with you?
Mary Vicky Lang? Come on, you're putting me on.
No, I'm not.
It's her idea, right?
Mine.
I love it.
Cut it out, Gary.
How can I? It's absurd.
Oh, is that how you feel about it? All right, fine.
Peter, listen, these are the best years of our lives. Why do you want to cut them short?
Maybe I'm gonna make them better.
Just take her to bed and get it over with.
Is that all you see in this?
No, I also see it as her trading in your youth for her security. Don't be a sucker.
It was my idea to get married.
Don't be a jerk.
I'm a jerk. Who was it running around campus last semester in just his underwear? You were painted green, huh? Who is it that goes to class half blitzed, having to count on some frat brother to cram with him at the end of the semester? Who is it dating girls whose vocabulary only has 2-syllable words, huh?
I am. It sounds as fun as it really is.
You're hopeless.
No, I'm 20 years old, and as the saying goes, I pass this way but once.
Yeah, well, I have this feeling you're gonna be stuck there a long time.
Not an unpleasant thought.
You know, I ought to thank you. Made me see how right I really am.
Me too, Davidson. Me too.
I need an answer. Please.
I don't know that she was going to spend the night with me.
Miss Phillips, she was found in this apartment in a bathrobe in the early hours of the morning. Now, what would you suppose from that?
What I mean is that she never told me when I spoke with her last night that she was spending the night.
Well, then what was her reason to come here? According to the newspaper, she's supposed to be on her honeymoon with Lee Carruthers.
I don't know. I came in, I discovered she was here. I left almost immediately. We barely spoke.
She let herself in?
Yes. She has her own key. Had her own key.
And she gave you no explanation as to why she was here?
She, I don't know. She mentioned something about, scheduling conflicts. A prior commitment of Lee's, I think. Look, I don't know why she chose to find it convenient to wait for him here. I don't know why she was going to spend the night here waiting for him. Talk to Lee. Maybe he has some answers.
Maybe he does. Where were you last night, Miss Phillips?
Visiting a friend.
Who?
Her name is Blair Simpson.
Where does she live?
Bramble Ridge Manor. 36 Park Circle Lane, apartment 302.
Must have been quite a visit considering the hour you got home.
We talked until it was quite late. I was very tired. She asked me if I wanted to sleep on her couch.
Bramble Ridge Manor is 5 blocks from here.
What are you saying?
What I am suggesting to you is that 5 blocks isn't that far, no matter how tired you are, unless you had a reason that you didn't want to come home, a reason connected to your mother or to the man whose clothes are hanging in your closets.
I have nothing to hide. Those clothes belong to Gil Prescott. He lives here with me.
Oh, really? Well, I was under the impression that you weren't seeing each other anymore.
What is this? Does the Kingsley Police Department have a policy to spy on all of its citizens?
No. I happen to be a friend of your father's.
Apparently not friendly enough.
Did Gil Prescott spend the night here last night?
You tell me. You're the detective.
Amber! Amber! What's going on here?
Just in time, Gil. Sergeant Brubaker here has some questions he wants to ask you.
This guy says he lives here.
It's all right.
What's going on here?
That's what we're trying to find out, Mr. Prescott.
Who was it?
Kate Carruthers. Where were you last night?
I wasn't here.
That wasn't a question.
I was, out. In my car, mostly.
Why?
I was looking for Amber.
I see. Why?
Because she wasn't here.
Because she wasn't here. Is it your usual custom when your girlfriend isn't home to go prowling around after her?
No, it's not my usual custom, but that's what I was doing last night.
Exactly how long were you in this apartment when you came?
Not very long, just a few minutes.
And in those few minutes, you were able to determine that she wasn't coming back, right?
Yeah.
And how could you possibly know that?
Because I know Amber.
I see. And when you were here, you didn't see anyone else?
No.
Amber, what time were you here?
Around 8 o'clock.
And Gil?
It was pretty late. It was about, 12:30.
You didn't see Mrs. Carruthers?
No.
When was the last time you saw her?
The wedding, I guess.
Bev,
Yes?
I want you to fingerprint these two.
Why?
You got something to hide?
No.
You're being fingerprinted because you live here. We gotta find out what prints belong and what don't. If that even turns out to be relevant.
Would you come over here, please?
No, Lucille, I haven't seen Dave since yesterday. Where else have you tried? All right, well, try the hospital again. I think his patient, Mrs. Murphy's, going into surgery this morning. He always liked to stop in beforehand and offer a word of encouragement. No, just call Main 4 directly. The head nurse may have seen him. No, I'm sorry. I won't be in for at least an hour. My lawyer's coming over to discuss the malpractice suit. Well, how many patients are there? Okay, well, just try and keep them happy as long as you can. I'll be there as soon as possible. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Here you go, doll.
Thank you.
So what was all that about?
That was Lucille from the clinic. Dave hasn't shown up yet. She's tried to reach him everywhere and can't find him.
Well, that's odd.
Boy, he picked the perfect morning for it. I mean, we got 10 patients sitting there waiting.
Well, instead of jumping on him, why don't you show a little concern? You know this isn't like Dave. There could be something wrong.
No, there's nothing wrong. He's just late. I just wish he'd be a little more considerate.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like I don't have anything else to do here.
Yeah, and he probably did it just to annoy you, too.
That's not what I'm saying, and you know it.
But that's what it sounds like. Look, why don't you ease up on this lawsuit? I mean, this happens to every doctor. And you're gonna come out of it fine.
Hey, Doug, right on time.
Well, I always say if you can't be very good, least you can be is on time, right?
Uh-oh, you got one of Ben's fake laughs. I think you've made him nervous.
Lori, hi.
How you doing, Doug?
How you doing?
Good to see ya. You want some coffee?
Love some. That'd be nice, thanks.
all right, I'm going
Hey,
to...
listen, where's Scott? You know, I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, I know you haven't, and he's sleeping right now, and don't you go peek on him because you always wake him up.
So, spare me the suspense. Are you going to represent me or not?
Yes.
Thank you.
Gene! Gene, wake up!
What?
I trust you finished the story on the mayor's task force?
What?
The mayor's task force, the one that's investigating corruption on the city council?
Oh, yes, that's finished. And probably in a couple of days, I guess all the canaries and the unhousebroken puppies will be very excited about it.
Well, it just so happens that that story is going to be on the first page.
It just happens to be a lot of nonsense about a lot of nonsense. What time do you have?
8:30.
8:30. I don't suppose I'm entitled to a little time off, huh?
Well, I suppose that could be arranged.
Well, I'm glad to see that someone is smiling. You know, my wife is not too happy about these hours you've been making me work. You know, I mean, after being in labor for almost 2 days, you know, just... And then not knowing when her husband's gonna pop in and out, that can drive her up the wall.
Well, contrary to your opinion, that story does happen to be an important one. And if it would help at all, Gene, I will be glad to call Carla and personally apologize.
No, if you're smart, you'll wait until after the baby is born. I mean, at the rate that we're going, it'll probably be sometime next year.
Maybe. Hey, yeah. Tell me something, Gene. If you could choose, which would you rather have, another son or a daughter?
Well, I don't play that game anymore. No more, man. No, I see. When Jimmy was born, someone asked me that question, and I never heard the end of it until I gave my answer.
Yeah, well, look, I'm really curious. I mean, just between you and me, I won't tell another soul. Which would you rather have?
A girl. I mean, I wouldn't get upset if it was a boy, but I'd really like to have myself a little girl.
Well, you know, maybe wishes do come true.
What do you mean, wishes come true?
Congratulations, Gene. You have a daughter. Your mom just called from the hospital.
Darling, no!
How about that?
Serious?
Yeah. Well, this is one reporter who doesn't get his facts wrong.
Oh! You hear that, everybody? I got a little girl!
Hey, wait, I have one question.
What's that?
What are you still doing here?
Oh.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know.
Get out of here. There you go. Hey, what's the matter with you people? Get back to work.
Well, certainly won't hurt our case if Nancy Lawson's recovery keeps progressing as well as it has.
Won't her lawyer consider that irrelevant?
Her lawyer might, but it's the judge and the jury that we have to convince here.
You know, the other day when I went up to see Nancy, and I got so angry with her, I had a feeling there was a certain reluctance on her part to go through with this thing.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, because if anyone could cheat someone or hurt someone, Nancy Lawson would be the first to do it. I mean, she has sold antiques that weren't hers, sold a house that wasn't hers, falsified government documents. I mean, you want me to keep going?
No, I think he gets the picture. So, Doug, you see what we're up against.
I just wish it were that simple.
Do either one of you have any business that might take you out of town next couple of days?
No.
That's right. You already took care of your business, didn't you?
And what business was that?
I had overnight business 2 days ago, that's all. It was concluded.
Mr. Prescott?
No, nothing that I know of.
Good. I don't want either one of you to leave town. I want you to be available for further questioning.
You mean this isn't it?
That's exactly what I mean.
Great. You can get in touch with me through my office if you need me.
Have you talked to Amber?
I saw her. I ran into her at the Castaway.
And she told you.
Told me what?
I assume from your attitude that you two opened up.
You can thank Stacy for my attitude.
I don't know what you mean.
I had to tell her that we weren't going to see each other anymore. It was all over.
Oh.
What is it, Miss Phillips? Tell me what's going on.
Sir, we think we have the murder weapon and the suspect.
What? Where?
Out in the parking lot. The gun's just lying out there in the open. And there's a man who passed out in his car. Says his name's Dave Phillips.
Where is he? I'll kill him!
Sam,
I'll
get
kill
her.
him! Oh, God, he couldn't have her, so he killed her!
Miss Phillips, please.
Let go of me! No. What are you looking at? Your murderer's downstairs waiting for you. Why don't you go have a chat with your friend?
Stay with us, Sam.